know, Nick, you might need to I didn't show the whole desktop. I shared the presentation. So you probably need to share the desktop instead of.
To share the desktop.
What do you guys set up that said sharing?
I shared just the presentation, not the whole desktop, so we won't be able to see their site.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to
Can we do it?
share the desktop.
Yes, click on stop sharing. There you go. And then you click on share again on the top. Left, 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 left. And then desktop. Now you're good. If you want to hide the bar at the top.
Just click that.
There you go, you got it.
Yeah, all right.
You guys can go whenever you're ready.
And you'll have to kind of present.
I'll come out.
Okay.
You'll see my lovely face.
You can't hide behind it.
But I like to hide. It's good for me. Okay. So we are Desktop Remedies. We are here today to share our SharePoint site with you. I'm going to start by going over who we are. I'm going to tell you about our lessons that we learned. We are going to go over the benefits of our site. We're going to tell you why you should choose us. And then we're going to wrap it all up, go over everything real quick. So I am Victoria. I am the project manager. I am a business administration, human resources management major. I attended West Point for 2 years. I work for McGeorge Law School. I'm the only one in our group that is not an MIS major. Here we have Andrew. He's our business analyst. He is a business administration, management information systems major, an MIS major. He works for the state of California Employment Development Department as a part of the information technology team. And we have Fabio. He is our application architect and web developer. He is also a business administration, management information systems major. Tough one for me to say. He works for Los Rios Community College as a senior information technology technician. So first of all, we're going to go over our shared documents. Shared documents are extremely important, and I learned through this because at my organization, they sent emails out after email after email, and documents are attached to these emails, which makes it hard for us to keep track of what's new. What is the new rule? What is the new way to use a different site? So using shared documents, you can put all this up on there, and you can organize it by lists and views. And say that we have Gina in Office A and Tom in Office B. If you want them to see different items, you can give them permissions to see the different items. So I'm going to share our shared document site with you. Okay, so we broke it down into different lists. We've got our document type, and that's our company documents first. Under our company documents, we put our communication log. Our presentation for today was under there. Those are documents specific to our company, and that is where you put your handbook and any new, let's say, get your handbook, rules and regulations, anything that you want everybody in the company to see. Next, we have our resumes. These are always important. You can find out who we are and what we did. This is important for, say that you are hiring a bunch of people on and you want to keep track of their resumes. This is an important way to do that, and it's an easy way. You can organize them by person, by name. You can do ABC. And you can also, like I said, with permissions, Gina can see them and Bob can. We put our samples of work in another list, and those are organized. And then we have our tutorials, and then we also put our YouTube videos in. So next we're going to go over lists and views, which fall into almost every page in SharePoint. This entire process was new to me. I had never used SharePoint before. Therefore, I learned more than I could imagine in this, it's about 6 weeks. And I learned more from these guys than I could imagine also. Lists and views allow you to customize the display to what you want to see, when you want to see it. And this was something that I got to work a lot on. And I learned how to organize the different views, and we broke our views down into specific items because The more broken down they are and the more organized they are, the easier it is to work with. And that was the key to our site, was making it easy to work with and understanding what we're doing. We're working on it. Always have technology issues. So, we have our tasks, and if we go up into, okay, so we're going to go to our issues log. So we have different views right here, and it's okay, Fabio, we're good. So we have different views, and the different views. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you about it. So, we broke our views down into what was needed to be seen. So for tasks, we had current tasks, phase 1 tasks, phase 2 tasks. You can see all the tasks at one time, but if you see everything, it's too cluttered, you don't know what's going on. As I said before, you want to be clear, concise, and that makes everything so much easier to work. So now we're going to hand it over to Andrew, and he's going to tell you about our dashboard.
On the dashboard, we made our homepage the dashboard. We wanted the user to automatically see what's new and improved on our site, what we've changed, and what's going on. So, as you can see on our page, there we go. We have on the left side, or I guess the view is, yeah, the left side. We have our list of items that we created. Thank you. Over here, things that have been modified and created within the last 48 hours. This is a custom-made design that we came up with. We linked all of our lists together to come up with this view. As things are changed, they show up on the list, and they show up on the list for 48 hours. After that, we have our chart web part, and this shows everything that we have going on for the current phase and the percent complete they are, so people can get a look real fast at what's going on. And this is linked to our project plan, so as soon as you make updates to the project plan, it automatically updates up there. This is a custom view of the project plan, and this is customized for the user. So when you log in, your tasks is what you see. You can see it's broken down. You're only able to see things that are have currently started within everything that started from the beginning into 7 days from now. So. And as soon as they hit 100%, they no longer show up on the list. So you can see what you have to do and how far along they are. At the top of the page, we have a chat feature. This will allow the whole site to communicate. It's created on the master page, so it shows up on every single page that we have. And you're able to communicate easily through the whole website. It updates every 15 seconds because that's all that the control would allow. So I should make it faster or anything like that.
Okay, workflow. Now, the workflow that we designed, we did a time-off workflow. It's one of those daunting tasks that both the supervisor and the manager and the employee is just complicated to do, especially in a large organization. So the way we did it, we have a list, and I created a custom workflow that as soon as you add click item or click add item, it comes up with a box to put in employee name that's requesting a time off, a from day with a calendar view, and also a to day say when you're coming back to work, and the reason for vacation or the reason of time off, you have vacation, sick time, or overtime. And you also have a comment box if you want to say something to your supervisor. And then once you do that, you click Save, which is under the Edit, and it initiates automatically the workflow. Now this workflow, the way it works, it sends, as soon as it's initiated, it sends it to the supervisor, sends an email saying such and such employee on such and such date, it's requesting the time off. And then in that email, he's going to have a link that takes you directly back and to a page to where you can approve it, decline it, or you can just say, you can send back a comment, say, you know, we need to rediscuss the time off. Another thing that this will do, it gives you the total time off. It tells you how many days this employee is going to take on time off wise. And here where the time workflow, it shows you if the workflow is still in progress or if it's approved or denied. So the employee can easily come to this page and say, yes, my time has been approved. And not only that, but when the employer or the supervisor clicks approve, denied, or we need to discuss, it sends an email back to the employee saying, hey, yes, you've been approved, no, you haven't been approved, or whatever comment the supervisor decides to put into the little box. And that's the workflow in a nutshell.
Okay, so I'm going to go over a little bit. We know this project was about learning about SharePoint, but it was also for us about learning about some other items. We learned that some items outside of SharePoint, we learned location is key. This is a web-based program, therefore if you do not have a good internet access, you're not going to get much done. We tried to meet over spring break at Starbucks. Didn't work out so well for our computers. We also learned, and our team is very good at this, timing is key. And what I mean by this is you want to be on time, ahead of time. I'm an Army girl, so if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And that's the idea that we kept with us. Almost every one of our tasks was completed ahead of time, and that's how we do our business in general. Everything is done early, it's done efficiently, and say that you are our company and we're coming to you, you will have a chance to review it before it's actually due, so if you want something changed, we can change it. We also learned equipment is key. I have a cheap computer. Recording videos on there didn't work so well. So we switched up about after the first video, we started using an actual recording system, which worked really well. So why we are the best choice to use SharePoint for your company. We have an amazing company dynamic. We communicate very well together. We communicate often, and I don't know if you've been able to tell from our personalities, we get along and we get things done. We're very efficient, like I said. Tasks are completed on time and above expectation. We also have the best available options for you. We have our workflow. We have chat abilities, as you saw. And I don't know if anybody noticed our favicon, which Fabio is extremely proud of. If you look up, we've got our little doctor right there. Our little desktop doctor. He pops up on every page. Also, our icon is a click back to the home page. So as you can see, click on that, takes right back to the home page. You saw our chat abilities. You saw our workflow. We work for you. We created an easy way to request time off for your employees. So all you do is go in, sends it off to you, you check it, say yes or no, and makes your life a little simpler, I hope. So, just to wrap things up, I told you who we are. I told you about what we learned. We told you why you should choose us. And we all hope that you have a great day. And here we are. Thank you.
See, I'll have to kind of move out here. So we have some lots of questions. How did you enjoy the program?
I liked it a lot. I feel like I learned a lot from it. Going through making the dashboard page and the chat log, it was challenging. I ended up nuking the pages 2 or 3 times before I actually got it working right. But I think that, I learned a lot about SharePoint in general from it.
likewise on my end, I did the web development and workflows, and I did the same thing, just mess it up. You always, make sure you have a backed up copy, a fresh copy, go back to it. And also I gotta remember to check the master page in, because I can see the changes, not these guys. So that's the only, that was my main thing. Go back.
So group dynamic wise, did you know each other before you signed up?
They came into, they knew each other, they worked together. They came into my MIS 101 class, and the professor was like, does anybody want to work with these guys? I was like, I have free time. My husband's deployed, I got nothing better to do. So I joined them, and this has been an amazing experience for me because I work on a system, statewide system, all the time, but nothing like this, and I've learned that this is just an amazing site that if we even used it, it would make things 10 times easier.
So did you find that you actually got together a lot, or you did everything, a lot of communication online?
We got together 3 times a week usually, and we also did a lot of communication online. There were some times where we couldn't meet in person, and so we had Skype open, and we would chat back and forth, check this site out, how do you think, how can we do this? What do you think of these colors for our design?
And desktop sharing, we did it just in case, him and I were having code problems.
Right.
We would just bounce ideas back and forth. It was very helpful.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. Good presentation. Probably just a little bit of feedback of going back and forth, obviously, just practice. But one of my questions is how were you able to use SharePoint in the course of your project with the look goals and that kind of thing? I mean, was utilizing SharePoint in terms of this project, how did that help you?
We used it, obviously did all the deliverables, we worked through it. I have to say that getting more towards the end, we were able to use it for more items. The deliverables were very helpful. The setting alerts in the very beginning for me was extremely helpful because I was just messing around. I set one up to when documents were added. So I knew throughout the entire project when anybody added anything or changed anything, which I found helpful because I had made the rough outline of PowerPoint and put it up for everybody to look at, and I could tell, like, I'd get an email, this has been changed. So I was able to go in and see what's going on. So as we went along in the deliverables, I found them to be more and more helpful. And now at the end, I mean, it's all just accumulated into one big thing.
And our project plan helped us keep organized. We knew what was coming up, and we knew, what time that we had to do because it was set up in such a way that we could easily see what's going on.
All right.
I was gonna say.
Are you done?
Yeah.
The critique comes after this, though.
What's that?
Questions now, critique later.
Yeah. I thought you guys did a great job, by the way. Thank you for presenting, that was great. So I'm the technical guy, so I'll ask some technical questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grill 'em.
I won't grill, I won't do a grill. You have a couple questions. Tell me about the chat part.
The chat part is a mixture of HTML, JavaScript, and a list. Also some XSLT behind there. Yeah, I spent a lot of time working on that. It was actually finished this morning around 10 o'clock.
Excellent time.
The problem I was having with it is that I wanted the person's name to only show up once when they send a new message. So if I was to send a message, then my name would show up, and it would show everything, under that, so I would not have the same name. So I spent a lot of time working on that, trying to get it just perfect. But yeah, a lot of this stuff I was able to find online. I had to do some searching for it, but
That's half of the developer skills.
yeah.
Stealing from somebody else. So is this deployed in Office 365?
Yes.
So, you were limited in the kind of code you could deploy, right?
Mm.
Did you guys write any actual code, or
Yes.
was that for the workflow, or something else?
I wrote some for the workflow.
I wrote some for the dashboard and for the chat.
Okay, and that was in the sandbox, like sandbox code? No? When I say code, I mean like C# or VB.NET.
Oh, we didn't actually.
Okay.
I didn't add
Okay,
that code.
gotcha. Another question for Fabio, I think, would be around workflow. How did you build the workflow?
I used a list to have where in group by name. Then I also used InfoPath to to create my form.
Okay.
And I used SharePoint Designer to then be able to edit the workflow. And
How was that experience? Was that interesting?
it was, I learned a lot.
Yeah?
I learned a lot more than I thought. It was because of so much of everything I wanted it to do, I noticed that the built-in workflows that SharePoint came with didn't quite give me exactly what I wanted. So it took a lot of tweaking, going back in the code, changing. But honestly, it took a few days to actually get it nice and tidy up.
It's a good skill. So last question. So what was the hardest thing and what was the easiest thing? Let me back up. Two parts. What was the thing you liked a lot and what was the thing you hated the most about SharePoint?
It could be the same thing.
Absolutely.
I hated how challenging it was to get everything to work the way I wanted it.
Yeah? Just UI wise or just strictly out here?
Both scripting and UI wise. On here I wanted a new icon to pop up, but I also wanted to pop in JavaScript right here. It used to pop up when it was necessary, and that was a different Java code than what I could pull up with developer tools, with the Internet Explorer, Microsoft tools to look at the code. It was completely different from there. So just getting everything to look the way I wanted it to and learning all the new things. Because last time I worked with HTML, it was back in like 2.0, and now everything that's changed is crazy.
Great. So that was the best and worst, you say? It was. Okay. Anybody else?
And for me, it was tooling with master page. I went back and really got into the master page to customize it and did some changes to it. And that was for me at first because I had to read HTML. That was cool. It's been years since I've touched it. And so going back, relearn it. And also the way SharePoint Designer and the page, the way it shows you the live preview, and it's not true to the way actually it displays on the site. So there was a lot of going back and forth, uploading, seeing, coming back down, change it, upload it again, making a lot of changes on the fly. So it took a lot of.
I'll move on. Greg's giving me a hook. Greg's giving me a hook. Sorry. I was way too long.
I'll try to be concise. How did you arrive at this solution, and what other ideas didn't make it one of those runner-ups? And why did you believe that the idea that you presented to us was best suited for SharePoint over the other ideas you had?
Well, I can speak on why we chose our colors. I did some research on the colors. I looked up what the meaning of certain colors are and how they affect people. And I had actually shown the colors to my supervisor, who he's got his own computer, his own website and everything. And he's like, oh, those are too bland. And so we tried a bunch of different colors. We just went through and we're like, maybe this one, maybe this one. And then in the end, we ended up with keeping it this way because it was calming and it was easy to work with. And we vetoed many different colors of orange and yellow, I think. But that we spent a lot of time on that in the very beginning just because we could.
We also had went through many times on some of our main pages, like the logs and libraries page, and we had it created one way, and that way we felt it was too complicated to maintain, and so we completely wiped out those pages and made them web-based pages, because before we did all of our coding on an HTML-based page, and that wasn't good for the long run. We felt so it would have been easy. It's easier just to recreate that whole entire page in a way that would make it easier for sustainability in the long run.
First of all, the presentation and the overall thing was very nice. You had those little bit of glitches, but the main thing was you kept it cool and you got over it, and the presentation was kind of fun. So I really mentioned that. Now, the other thing that I liked about this whole thing is you have on the dashboard, you have the chat, you have first-time information about the different pieces of information that I would need in my day of work, and down below you also have the dashboards and the other stuff. One thing I would like to ask and understand your thought process is, you have used views for filtering information. While you were designing that architecture for searching that information, One is when the user puts in the information to the system. The other part is when he's trying to get that information out of it. So I'm interested in the second part of it. What was your thought process? How did you design that user should? How did you decide and design that user should have this experience and not this experience? What were the options that you were thinking?
We mostly were thinking about most recent. I believe that the user should have the most recent experience and be presented with the things that have changed up front, because the rest of the stuff they know where to find it through experience in the past. So being presented with new information right away would allow the user to quickly go through and find what they need if they need to change documents, which in my organization, that's what we need, most of the time. And so by being able to customize that part, and also by some of the pages are customized towards more the user instead of just general new things. So we try to do a little bit of both.
Okay. How about you? So that is a collective thought
That
process?
was a collective, because we all
Yeah.
came to this together as a team. We all came to this.
And then from the the metadata tags and search and the other things, did you think about those, but because of time constraints or other stuff, you decided that we'll leave them for this, or was it not thought? What was the... You consider input platforms, you have lists, you have workflows. Other than those, there were some features that you initially started that you wanted, but then you dropped them on. Any of those features that you looked at?
I was looking at Tag Cloud, looking at that as a future, but time constraints really, that was for me.
Did any of you guys get credit? Sorry. Did any of you get credit actually for
doing the project?
doing the project?
I did. Because
Spiros' class.
Spiros' class, and he just said, if anybody wants to do it, he wants to do the last project, which he doesn't do for a couple of weeks, and my husband's wanting to again. So I was like, yeah, that'll make it easier for me. Get it done now.
And you guys just volunteered to do it?
For fun.
Extra credit? And put it on your resume?
And to grow, right? It was fun to get something, a new experience. You actually develop something for the business.
I've heard about the SharePoint experience in the past and wanted to do it, and Bobby was the first person I knew that was actually doing it at the time, so